A significant victory for Mitt Romney. Remember, he came into this campaign in Florida, few points behind Newt Gingrich, who got the big momentum kick from South Carolina. But the opinion polls are showing over the last 72 hours that he was going to win and win big. And he's translated those figures into a significant victory in Florida. Just let's take a look at those figures. 98% of the votes have been counted here in Florida. Mitt Romney, the clear winner, with 46% of the votes. Newt Gingrich in second with almost 32%. Rick Santorum coming a predictable third with 13%, and Ron Paul, who had essentially given up campaigning in the state, trailing in fourth with 7%, but he wasn't expecting to do much better than that. Well, in the last couple of hours, the two main candidates have been speaking to their supporters. Newt Gingrich saying that he's going to continue his campaign, standing in front of a sign that said 46 more states to go, and Mitt Romney paying tribute to those who stood against him here in Florida and turning his attacks onto President Obama.
There were fewer candidates tonight than when the race began, but three gentlemen are serious and able competitors, and they're still in the race, and I want to congratulate them on another hard-fought contest in this campaign. Primary contests are not easy, and they're not supposed to be. As this primary unfolds, our opponents in the other party have been watching, and they like to comfort themselves with the thought that a competitive campaign will leave us divided and weak. But I've got news for them. A competitive primary does not divide us, it prepares us, and we will win.
This is what a serious, conservative president is like, who is bold and is prepared to change Washington despite the screams of the establishment in both parties. So a couple more steps. We will, on that day, sign an executive order that will instruct the State Department that day to open the embassy in Jerusalem and recognize Israel. I will sign that day an executive order reinstating Ronald Reagan's Mexico City policy. No U.S. money will go anywhere in the world to pay for abortion, period. And finally, many of you may have noticed that the Obama administration has declared war on the Catholic Church and other religious institutions. I want you to know that on the very first day, I will sign an executive order repealing every anti-religious act of the Obama administration as of that moment.
Joining me live now here in Tampa is Republican Party political strategist Ford O'Connell. Ford, thanks very much indeed for joining us. I know you've had a very busy night. You heard Newt Gingrich speak. He seems to be making this clear distinction that he is the only Conservative candidate that can win this nomination. Is he playing the right cards here?
He is for now. If he can get the money from the right backers, he can get back in. This is the Conservative candidate, because really what he's trying to say is, I'm not as much the Conservative candidate as I am the not Mitt Romney candidate. And that's really what he's playing to. He wants to get Rick Santorum supporters behind him because he feels that he does the math. If Rick Santorum supporters get behind him, then he can go toe-to-toe with Mitt Romney if he can get the money as well.
But Florida's a big state. It's all-encompassing. There's all sorts of voters here who voted in the primary. It's more like America than the first three states. This was a big win for Mitt Romney. It shows that he can play right across the country, doesn't it? It
does. I mean, this is obviously the biggest statement that you can have if you're Mitt Romney. You say, I won Florida, because you're going to have to win it in the general election if you want to beat President Obama. That said, though, I don't think that a lot of the rest of the field feels that Mitt Romney has yet earned the nomination. So their task right now is to really, hang on Mitt Romney and see whether or not he can pull through and consolidate everyone else. If Mitt Romney does get, say, up by 10 or 15% in the national polls, I think we could see some of the other candidates drop out. But until then, they're going to make Mitt Romney work for the nomination.
Mitt Romney was back being Mr. Nice Guy to the other candidates tonight, saying they're able candidates, it's great that they're competing. Will he continue with that message, or will he go back on the offensive again, particularly against Newt Gingrich, when it's been so effective here in Florida?
I think he's going to straddle the fence on that. He's likely to go negative because negative's been working for him. The question is if he goes negative too much, how will that hurt him with independents as they sort of watch this Republican primary derby play out? If it starts to hurt him too much, he may have to stop it, and that's the real question that's going on right now, is how long long can you continue to do this before it hurts your own personal brand? Because really, the success tonight was not, hey, I'm Mitt Romney, vote for me. It was, here's why Newt Gingrich should not be the nominee.
Is that the problem with the Republicans here, that no one's voting for the candidate they really want? They're just voting for the candidate that they find least objectionable?
Well, I think that right now that's it. They're saying who is the best to take on President Obama based on electability, situation. What they're saying is the candidate with the least number of flaws right now is the candidate who's best able to take on President Obama.
So if you're Newt Gingrich, what do you do in the next few contests? Because they seem to favour Mitt Romney. When you're talking about Nevada, you're talking about Arizona, Colorado, Michigan, they all seem to be quite good places for Mitt Romney to be campaigning.
I got to get money, and I got to get more money. And then I have to get a campaign staff in place for Super Tuesday, which will come after this February calendar you're discussing. And I also have to hope that my new best friend Ron Paul can do very well in some of the other caucuses, because those voters weren't going to go for me, but they're now going to take away from Mitt Romney. What we're going to see here in February is a little Cold War politics. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, is sort of Newt Gingrich and Mitt Romney battle it out.
They'll all head to Nevada. They're going there first thing on Wednesday morning. What does Mitt Romney do? Does he continue to try and convince people that he's not Newt Gingrich?
Well, Nevada's a stronghold for Mitt Romney. It has a high Mormon population. If Mitt Romney lost Nevada, that would be national news, because we expect him to go in there and win it. And the question is because it'll be a proportionally allocated state, how many votes can Ron Paul get and how many votes can Newt Gingrich get out there? That's the real question right now.
Ford, you've been with us for a few hours. Thanks very much indeed for being with us.
Thank you.
Here live in Tampa. Just a point to make. Here in Florida, they allocate delegates to the winner. Second place gets nothing. 50 delegates. That's a big win for Mitt Romney, but he's still a long way short of the magic figure that he needs to secure the nomination. That's 1,144. Of course, the person reaching that will receive the nomination here in Tampa in August.
Indeed, a big night for Romney camp, but still a long way to go. For the moment, Alan Fisher live for us in Tampa, Florida.